Welcome, everybody, to Phillies Unfiltered. I am Brent Tracy, along with my co-host Jim Russo. Jim, how are you feeling after this first series of the season?
We've played 3 baseball games. Three
Yep.
regular season baseball games. Hey, they won 2 of them. Today didn't go as I hoped. Um, I'm content right now. I don't have many complaints. I have a couple, but uh, looking solid. I mean, playing the same team with just Washington. They literally rolled out the same lineup 3 days in a row. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see what they can bring over the next couple of games.
Yeah. It was an exciting, frustrating, interesting 3 days of
Yes.
baseball. So So yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, even though it was only three games, there's plenty to discuss. And so today we're going to talk about the first series, just kind of how it went, the players that stood out to us, both in positive and negative ways. Part of that is going to be a new segment that Jim has created called Stud or Dud of the Week. And so we're both going to give our stud and dud of the week, or the series, because it's really half a week. But
Right.
and we're going to talk a little bit about how Topper has handled the lineup here in the first 3 games, a little bit about the leadoff spot, and how he's handled it in relation to some of the injuries that have occurred early on as well. And we also have another installment of Kids Corner coming up today. So we got a few more kids involved in this one. So I hope you all like that.
Yes, we
But
do.
I do
We
want to
do.
I do want to start off though with a little bit more of a lighthearted question.
All
Um,
right.
how do you feel about mascots in pro sports, and who is your favorite? With the understanding that I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, well, I think the answer is a given with who's my favorite.
Go ahead.
I enjoy mascots. I think they're great for the games, or especially for just the entertainment purposes and for the kids mainly. If I had to rank pro sports and mascots, Philadelphia has 2 of the top 10 in the Fanatic and Gritty. I do love me some Gritty too. Um, that monstrosity that was created a few years back that everybody was terrified of, as was I. He's hilarious, but nobody, nobody beats the Fanatic. Is the greatest mascot in the world. It's just a pinnacle of my youth, just seeing the Fanatic, like watching my kids meet the Fanatic, giving a hug to the Fanatic, high fives, and it's wonderful. And there's never a dull moment with them. And yes, I love mascots in sports, and the Fanatic is the best. The hat I'm wearing tonight just so happens to have the Fanatic on the front of it. I always have the hat backwards, but I turn it around, but I got the headset on, so but it's there.
That's all good. I believe you.
What
I
are your
believe you.
thoughts here?
So we're on opposite sides of the spectrum on this. Not with the Fanatic. If I have to pick a best mascot, it's the Fanatic. That being said, I am very much a I'm going to the game to watch the game sort of person. I cannot agree with Gritty. I can't stand Gritty. He annoys me, and I think the reason why I don't like him is because the Flyers rolled him out at one of the lowest points in their franchise in terms of like
Okay.
productivity. I kind of viewed it as a a gimmick to just kind of
Mhm.
distract from what was going on the ice. Also, he looks like the Fanatic's crack addicted cousin that crawled out of the sewer. I just can't. I can't. I can't. I don't like him. The Fanatic, though, I will tell you a brief little story about the Fanatic. I was 8 years old at a Phillies game at the Vet, and I was a baseball. You and I think, were very similar, probably as kids too, in terms of how we viewed baseball. And I was watching a game at the Vet. I was very into it. Was super focused on the game, and the Fanatic starts dancing around in front of me, and I'm trying to see the game. And I vividly remember saying, "Come on, would you move? I'm trying to watch the game. Let's go." I was 8 years old, and it was just
Oh,
like,
man.
and now I don't think he heard me. I think he was actually a couple rows in front of me, but he was
Mhm.
blocking my view, so I didn't really like it. But I
Okay.
get it. My kids love the Fanatic. I get the reason. I'm not sitting here saying that they don't serve a purpose, because I think they do. But for me, it's never been something that has been a necessity. I could do without it in sports,
You're you're
personally.
kind of getting this get off my lawn attitude about
I
it.
know, I know. I'm a grumpy old man when it comes to when
Stop
it
being a
comes.
curmudgeon here.
I
I mean,
know, and I
he
acknowledge that, but
yeah, he's there for the kids primarily, and he
of
interacts with the
course,
adults in a fun way. Borderline inappropriate, but it's great.
yeah.
I mean, it's some of the tickets I get, like he walks through and like there's a Diamond Club area of the ballpark, and like, after he does his little dance on the dugout, he walks up, he comes through, he has to walk through this certain area, and like I can place my kids right there, and he'll give them a high five, he'll give them a hug, and you can take a picture. Like it's surreal. I mean, it's a legend that you're getting to meet on a consistent basis. It's great.
Yeah, no,
So
I
yes, I
definitely.
love him. You're not allowed to not like him. Yes, you are. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike him, but I just don't need him. Like I don't need it. But I knew that we were going to be on different sides of that, so I thought I was like, I'm just going to ask this because I knew you were a Fanatic fan, and I knew I wasn't. So that is how we both feel about the Fanatic. Obviously, we're on different sides of that debate, but you know what? It makes things interesting when we're
Doesn't
on
it?
different sides. You know.
Yes, it sure
Uh,
does.
so, but now let's get into why, hopefully, why you're all listening. Not our opinions about mascots, but our opinions and thoughts about this team. So, as I said, we're starting a new segment this week, and we intend to have it every week that Jim came up with called Stud or Dud of the Week. Now, we only have one series under the belt right now, but that's what we're going to work with. So, Jim, 3 games and
Yeah.
three very different types of games too, might I add. But in those 3 games, who are your studs and who are your duds?
I, I was thinking about this for a little while. Um, like, I thought about Alec Boehm. Didn't have a great game today. He was in the early running with his game one performance and the big double and the extras.
Yeah.
Um, Schwarber was on my mind there too. A couple home runs, wall scraper home runs, but not home runs nonetheless. The strikeouts kind of hurt me a little bit there too. And trying to leg out a double when he's not somebody that should be legging out a
Oh,
double. But I'm going with a dual winner here with Zach Wheeler and Jesus Luzardo. I think those two arms kept us in both of those games. Their strikeout pitches were working pretty well. Like Wheeler was Wheeler. He had a long at bat to Ruiz and who took one out, but 12 pitches to one guy, you're bound to have one mistake. Um, and Luzardo, that sweeper looked real good. I mean, the lefties were not touching it, and that was fun to see. I'm excited for him to be healthy, hopefully this year, and show us more performances like that. It was 11 strikeouts
yeah,
is pretty impressive against any major league roster.
for sure. Yeah. So Wheeler and Luzardo are your studs of the week then, or the
Yes,
series? Okay. And
yes,
what
yes.
about the other side of things?
So, so this one, I had a clear cut winner on this one after game one in Brandon Marsh, but it's not Brandon Marsh. He redeemed himself yesterday and did fairly well today.
Yeah.
Uh, Unfortunately, a new guy didn't have a strong appearance in his first time out with us. Jordan Romano, couple earned runs, a walk, a hit. He just was erratic and it didn't look sharp.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was jitters. I'm not sure if he was just not properly warmed up. It just didn't look good to me. And I hopefully when he gets back home, he redeems himself a little bit. But Jordan Romano is my dud of the week.
Okay. I can't argue with either of those, honestly. For me, the dud of the week is going to go to Nola, and that might not be fair, but
Okay.
2 home runs and they're multi-run homers, that hurt. And not even just that, because I was there today, by the way. I don't think I mentioned it at the top. which is kind of weird. But I went, we went down to DC for the day to go to the game, and we had a good time. It was good, even though the guys didn't play well. It was a little frustrating, but watching Nola early in the game, the ball to strike ratio had me concerned because it was almost identical through the first couple of innings, which is not a good thing. Obviously you want the strike number to be much higher than the ball number, but it took him a while to really settle in. And I mean, he wasn't giving up runs. Obviously, he was still getting outs, but I think that was more poor, pitch selection by the Nationals early on than it was Nola being effective. And then later, it's that we've talked about it. He hits that wall where guy gets on, a couple guys get on, and he kind of unravels a little bit. Josh Bell, got enough of that one to get it out of the park, and that really, really, I think, set Nola to the point where it was like, all right, this is not going to be his day. I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel good about it even leading up to that, but then that really was it. And then Lowe hit that 2-run shot. So
Lowe was no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, no, so for me, I don't expect. I'm not like, oh, Nola's gonna have a terrible year. I mean, we know he gives up home runs. It's just a trait of his. I don't think he pitched terribly, but it was a dud. I mean, especially when you compare to what you just said, Wheeler and Luzardo, who were just on from the beginning. Wheeler would have had an even better outing if the umpire was calling strikes like the way he should have been. Even the Nats broadcasters the next day when I was watching the game on Saturday, the Nats broadcasters, Kevin Franzen actually gave Wheeler props. He was just like, the umpire, I think it was Marquez, wasn't giving him the pitches that were right down the middle, and that's the Nats broadcaster. But I mean, Franzen obviously has a little bit of a soft spot for the Phillies still too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that. I would say Nola for me is the dud. And then for the stud, I'm not going to take yours, but obviously the other two starting pitchers were unbelievably good. Luzardo, I mean, you knew what you're getting from Wheeler, but Luzardo, it was a little, you don't know for sure. His spring wasn't stellar necessarily. He did okay, but 11 strikeouts is really impressive. And it wasn't just that he had the strikeouts. You and I were texting during that whole game. The fastball, he was just clipping the outside corner or the inside corner. He was just right on the corners with all of it. Nothing over the middle of the plate really, other than maybe the Ruiz pitch really wasn't a bad pitch. Ruiz just kind of went and got it. You got to kind of tip your hat to him on that. It really wasn't a bad pitch.
No, it wasn't. It was a good at bat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was. I mean, he's starting the season well, Ruiz. It's just one of those things. But yeah, and his slider and the changeup, like his off speed stuff looked good. He was just hitting his spots and he really just had them off balance. So I was impressed with Luzardo. But just in the spirit of going with kind of something else, I'm going to go with both of our guy Bryson Stott as the stud. I mean, it wasn't just because, I mean, yes, he had the home run. But he had a couple of doubles. I think he had 2 doubles, one in each of the first 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
It would have been today and yesterday. First game he didn't hit.
Today? I didn't realize if he had. Okay. He was putting the ball in play and he was hitting the ball hard. And I would have agreed too, Bohm. But even today, even though Bohm didn't do that well in terms of productivity, the outs he made, like I was sitting in left field, right above the Phillies bullpen. So I saw his first 2, fly outs. They were to the track. I mean, they were deep, and it's the deepest part of the park. And he hit them hard. So I'm not going to be too upset about that, especially after his first couple of games where he did, rack up some hits. Even when he's making outs right now, they're loud outs, and I think that's something to look to. I'm not going to say because I think Stott does get the stud ranking this week for me a little bit over Bohm because of and he walked twice yesterday too. Stott, I mean, he was just on base, just all game. It was great. So
Bohm annoyed me today with the first pitch double play. I'm sorry. Long at bat to Schwarber, Wild throwing high inside pitches the entire time. I'm seeing a strike. He got on top of it, and it just routine.
I agree 100%. And I said that right before the he came up to bat. I'm like, okay, I'm standing there with my son and my wife and my daughters were, I think they'd gone to the restroom or something, and we were just kind of waiting, and we were watching, and I was like, well, okay, he's got to get the ball in the air here. I was like, he cannot hit into a double play, and like you said, first pitch rolls into a double play. I was like, you just, that can't happen. You've got to lift the ball. You got to somehow get the sac fly, just get on the board there. But rolling into a double play is not how you do that. And that was not a good at bat at all.
Unfortunately, that's something he does. He can produce
It
runs,
is.
but he grounds into a lot of double plays. It's him and JT.
JT, I was just going to say,
It's going to be one of those two guys.
Those are the two that tend to do it. And then just as an aside, of course, Harper was receiving heavy boos at the park, especially in our section. There was a lot of Phillies fans, but then there were some Nats fans that were booing him. I do love, though, that there was one guy that was super obnoxious, just going real hardcore with the booing. And Bryce hits the ball I didn't see what the exit velo was, but it had to be like 108 miles an hour. On that single that he hit today, he ripped it to right field. I was like, that's how you shut someone up. That's how you shut fans up when they're hating on you. But
So, yeah, Bryce is putting good one on the ball.
yeah,
That home run was a blast. That was electric. That was awesome to see. And he's been hitting the ball hard all series, and hopefully he can bring that up north. Or was it? Yeah, a little bit up north now. Up here,
2 hours up 95, or 3 hours, whatever.
A couple hours up 95 instead. Bring it to CBP and light up the crowd.
Yeah, no, he's looking good. So. Yeah, I mean those. So that's the stud and the dud series for now, or the segment for now. I think we also, a big thing we need to talk about is how Topper is handling the lineup so far, and as you and I were talking, a lot of it's going to be because of the injuries. I mean, Trey's been out two of the three, the last two games, and then JT was out today. I believe he had a bruised foot, but it sounds like they're both going to be back. They're minor injuries that it sounds like they'll be back for the Rocky series. But keeping that in mind, but also just generally, how do you think Topper has handled the lineup so far? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with rotating who the leadoff person is based off of left, right, starting pitching. Say with the lefty, you got Trey Turner leading off. I still don't think it should be Schwarber leading off against already.
Yeah,
it should be our guy Bryson Stott. I mean, Stott showed us yesterday what he could do. I mean, he was smoking the ball all day
and walking. He was working counts.
Long at bats. He's working counts. I mean, Schwarber can do that, but we saw that in the first at bat yesterday. He tried to lay out a double. Bryson Stott legs that out. Not a problem. He's in there standing.
So I was just going to say, he doesn't even have to slide. He's in standing. And then Schwarber is out by, 2.5 steps, and it looks like he's just falling over himself to try to get to the bag.
You ever see the video of Kyle Schwarber legging out a triple and he plays along with the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah,
that's what I think of every time he runs. He's not somebody that should be legging out a double. He should be a guy that's batting cleanup with two guys on base, bringing them all home with a 2-run single for all I care. And then you advance to second base on the throw.
Yep.
So I'm starting to get a little hyper here. It's just like it should be Trey and it should be Bryson Stott. I mean, I'm okay moving Bohm up to 2. However, I still think it should be Casty up at 2, and you leave Bohm in the cleanup spot even if you're flipping them. If you have, there's many different options. I'm not on the same page as Topper is here with Schwarber. Turner should be there. Yes, that's perfectly fine against a lefty, but it should be Bryson Stott batting against a righty.
I 100% agree with that, and we've talked about it. But I mean, Stott he has all the makings of a good leadoff guy. He gets on base, he hits the ball, line drives. He's got speed, which we saw when that's a problem when your leadoff guy doesn't have speed. That should have been an easy double to start the game. Instead, it's just a long out. I mean, other than the fact that it registers a hit officially, it doesn't do anything for your team, really. And, Stott easily gets in there. And it just doesn't make sense. I get why they put Bohm in the 2 spot. I don't hate that as much as Schwarber in the leadoff spot, but I agree with you. I think Nick's a better suited 2-hole hitter because I think Bohm has a higher proclivity to drive runs in than Nick does. But Nick Nick, again, we talked about it. He hits a lot of doubles, and if your two-hole guy is putting the ball in the gap, that's going to cause problems for the other team. So I would, yeah, I'd be okay with that too.
So, oh,
You know,
while we're at it, a little shout out to Nick Castellanos for walking 4 times. I think that's not something
I
we see a
texted
lot
you.
of from him.
I said that. I remember. I said what I said. It was. I think it was yesterday. I texted you. I said, "Look at Nick working the count, taking pitches, not chasing pitches. This is." And you said, "This is the Nick we like," or something like that.
Yeah, patient Nick is a
Patient
good
Nick.
Nick.
Well, it's true though, because it actually came up at the game today. I was there with my family, and it came up, and my son said something about him chasing. Or swinging or whatever, and I was like, well, he tends to chase pitches, so they pitch him
Right.
outside, and I was like, but he's doing a pretty good job so far this year of being patient and not making the pitcher come to him. So I think I agree with you. That's noticeable, and it's a good thing. They are taking more walks aside from that first game, which, my God,
Right.
pushing 20 strikeouts in a game. I was on my way home in the car driving from home from work, listening to the radio, and I'm just like, hit the baseball. I just make an out, but like have it come off your bat at least. Like it just the amount of strike they made Mackenzie Gore look like a 3-time Cy Young winner. And I mean he's a good young pitcher, but he's a 5 pitcher in our starting rotation. Like he's not an elite stud, and they just were just. I get the whole shadows thing, but to me that's an excuse. You've got to find a way to adapt. You can't be striking out. What was it? 19, I think, was the final tally. Maybe it's just too
Way
many
too
times.
many.
And yes, they won the game. They won the game, and I'm not going to sit here and be one of those people who's like, oh, But it is something you have to look at over a 162 game season. They have struck out a lot over the last 3 or 4 seasons. It's a chronic issue with this lineup. They strike
Right.
out a lot, and the fact that they're doing it against a team like this is concerning because you're going to face better teams. You have the Dodgers, you have the Padres, you have the Braves. I mean, there's better teams with better starting staffs, and if you're striking out, you know, almost 20 times against the Nats, like they did much better Saturday. And
Yeah.
today wasn't as bad either. They had a few strikeouts, but I mean, it was a more normal number that you'd see. But
Mhm.
yesterday was fantastic. They were really
Yes.
barreling the ball up, and it was great to see that. But it's the Jekyll and Hyde thing. They got to be more consistent. This goes back to why I think the Braves have the edge. Their offense is more consistent. Ours is just as talented, I would argue, but they are more consistent at putting the ball in play. They don't strike out nearly as much as we
I
do.
mean, it's I hate that it's become an acceptable part of the game to strike out.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not they don't see a problem with it. Like a guy striking out 150, 200 times. Like 15 years ago, that's a big deal. We would talk so much about how Ryan Howard struck out way too
Yep.
much.
But his
Like
batting
this,
average was a lot higher than these guys today that are
because he
batting
could
like
put the ball in play
right.
too. Like
Yeah, and he
and
could
he could
hit
also put the ball
lefties.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, but
and like
he could hit
he knew how to
lefties
hit the
too.
ball the opposite way.
Exactly. He had a lot of power opposite way. Probably one of the best opposite field power hitters of all
Yeah,
time, in my opinion.
sure, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you had said though about the leadoff spot, and I didn't like seeing Stott at 5. We've talked about that too. He's just not a middle of the lineup guy. He's
No,
a contact first guy. Yes, he had that home run, but it was as short a home run as you could. I mean, it was a
it was a line drive.
line drive right over, right over the wall. It
But
just tucked it into that
that's
corner there.
that's what he should be doing. He just so
Oh, I
happened to miss a
agree.
little bit to lift it enough.
Right,
Like ever
exactly.
if you ever hear Ken Griffey Jr., he was always trying to hit line drives.
Yeah, he
If he
always
missed
said
it just a little bit, it was a home run.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he just did that 650 times.
I know, and he would have done it like 800 if he hadn't gotten hurt. I still stand by that. He'd be the home run king if not for those crazy injuries. But anyway, we
Talk
won't
about
go on
him
that
another
tangent.
time. Yeah,
Um,
we'll talk about him
so
another time.
so yeah, I don't. I mean, the Trey injury, it was back spasms. I don't think it sounds like it's that serious, but we'll see. Edmundo has done okay. He got a few hits. I think he maybe had 3 over the course of the two days. I could be wrong. I
He looked
haven't.
good. He looked fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we know what we're getting out of Edmundo,
Hmm.
and I mean, I think he's a very very good bench player.
Yeah, he's a good stand-in when you need him for a few games, but over a long
Absolutely.
haul, no, yeah, you want to have Trey in
Mm-hmm.
there. And Marshawn had some good swings today too. Stepping in for JT. I feel a lot better with him than Stubbs. I
Me
mean,
too.
he's obviously a higher level of talent. Again, we have good defensive catchers in our system. I mean, JT, Marchand, and Stubbs are all pretty good defensive catchers. It's the bat. I mean, we talked about it.
Yes.
The bat was the problem with Stubbs, and um, Marchand definitely brings more danger with the bat, and the fact that he's versatile enough to be a switch hitter, that makes him more valuable than Stubbs in that
Mhm.
regard too. So
Absolutely.
it was good to see him get some time, and he's going to get time. I mean, they're going to scale JT back this year. He's a little bit older. They want him fresh for the postseason, so Marchand's going to get his chances.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, I mean, I don't think. Early on, I mean, there's a lot of up and down. The strikeouts bothered me to no end in the first game. But Saturday was a great game to watch. I had so much fun watching that game. They were hitting the ball all over the field. I liked Rojas with that little, you know,
Yeah.
the one he smashed into
So
the
it was a
ground
swinging
and just
bunt.
rolled. Yeah.
So, but have you noticed with him? He's putting the ball on the ground. I like that he shot him two of them to the opposite side today.
Yes.
Like his
Yes.
base hit was towards the second base hole, and he grounded out to second base today. However, it was to the right. He put the ball exactly where he needed to. He moved the runner from second to third. Like he
Yeah.
looked pretty
No. No.
good. I'm happy with what he did.
I agree. Yeah. No. He's doing what he should be doing. And we talked about it. Marshy looked pretty good too. I mean, the first game was terrible. Obviously, the Golden
Mm-hmm.
Sombrero, 0 for 4 Ks, but he he looked great on Saturday.
He did.
The base hits and then obviously the home run, he got all of that. That was just a great swing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I we'll see how the season progresses, but and Kepler has, I think, started a little slow. He's had a couple of hits. He's gotten a couple one or two walks too. He's not doing badly, but I think there's better to come from him. I
Yeah.
expect there
Get
will be.
get him
So
home. I want to see what he does here.
yes,
We've mentioned it. This will be the third time I mentioned his swing translates to this ballpark. So
for
I,
sure, for
I'm
sure.
expecting to see a little bit of excitement from him.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I mean I think that's a big it's a big thing is just having all these guys do what they need to do, not do more, not try to do more, just start putting the ball in play. Rojas just putting the ball in play, especially on the ground, like you said, because if he does that, he has great speed to get on base and steal some bases and just put pressure on the other team. But yeah, I mean they looked pretty good. There was strangely the only thing on Saturday that I didn't like was the defense. They got away with
Yeah,
two errors
two,
that they
two.
scored hits because they were trying to boost the home team's stats, but those were errors. I mean, Bohm's was definitely an
Absolutely
error, and Stott will probably tell you that was one he should have had and that it was an error. I mean, it was
right.
hit hard, but it was right through him. I mean, both of them, honestly, they should have made plays
They're
on those, but
they're good
yeah.
enough to get those.
Yeah, no, they
I
are.
mean,
I mean, it's yeah,
Bohm just his react. I just didn't like the reaction wasn't good. He was almost like he was either surprised or scared. I mean, it was a
yeah,
sharp hit ball, but he couldn't snag it. It was in his glove. He just didn't squeeze. Like it was kind of eh.
yeah. No, it was there, and like they said, the Stott one just kind of went through. But I'm not
Right.
worried about Stott. I mean, he made
No,
some
not
amazing plays
yeah.
in the
Game
first game,
one.
especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, he some really great plays. I mean, we talk about it all the time. He's a future Gold Glover. He's going to get
Absolutely.
at least one or two in his career. He's just really good with the
Even
glove.
Crucky said it
Yeah,
on Thursday too. He said that man's going to win a Gold Glove one day, and Tom's like, he sure is. Like,
yeah, you
absolutely,
can't
I think so too.
you know where he's going with that. So
Yeah,
no, that's really good. And like I said, yeah, so we talk about, and then the other thing was the other bullpen guys. I think we should touch on because I think we kind of
sure.
glossed over it. Obviously Romano. I am annoyed at the fans that are like, "Oh, what? Why did we waste our money on this guy?" It's one outing, like it's a
Yeah,
162 game season. Let's wait till the All Star
yeah.
break before we pass judgment, even to that extent.
It
But
just wasn't good.
no, it wasn't. And he was interviewed afterward, and I don't think didn't try to skirt that at all. He took responsibility. He said, "I just wasn't, I need to be better." So
It
hopefully he is. But
it happens. We can't. I mean, we can't harp on it all year. I mean, he's my dud of the week
Right.
because of one
Sure.
bad
And
performance. But as long as it's not
deservedly.
consistent, I
Right.
mean, I don't want to see him again next week for a dud. Hopefully he gets an appearance or two, a couple appearances, and shows us what he's here for. Like we know
Yeah.
what he can do. I just need him to do it.
Yeah. He looked
Um,
great in the spring. I mean, the
yeah, he
spring's
did, and then
so
that brings us to your other guy, Jose
yeah.
Alvarado. He was slightly erratic, but
Uh,
he was effective.
yep. And
He
and
was
I know
solid.
I did know. Yeah. The strikes were in the zone and they were tough to hit, but the ones that were balls were way not even close. I mean, they were just all over
Yeah,
the place. But again, that's part of his MO is to
yeah,
kind of be effectively wild. You just want to make sure that he's getting outs. I don't really care if he's doing it as long as he's recording outs. And to do that, you do have to be in the zone, which he was enough. I think he had them chasing pitches too because of that.
yeah.
So no, I'm okay with that. It's like I said, we've seen him enough to know that that's just kind of how he is sometimes, and it can be
Right.
effective and is
And
effective
then,
for him.
and then Kirkering, he threw the ball well. He got a couple bad breaks. I mean,
Yeah,
they were just bloopers. Just so happened to fall in the perfect spots. Both of those balls should have been caught. Turner
yeah.
should have got one. They just didn't communicate. Like I don't know if Marsh was coming in from center field. I don't know if how well he was communicating with Stott to get the one that Stott ended up kicking between Marsh's legs
Hmm.
or wherever
Yeah,
it went.
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I'm not, I don't have a problem with Orion either right now. I think he's improving. He's growing. He's still a young player, and I think he's got a bright future. So I'm
Right.
not worried about him.
Then
Uh,
then, yeah, you texted me about one other guy, which was Tanner Banks.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of they were up by a lot, but I mean, he didn't make it interesting in
Yeah,
a bad way. He got the outs, and I think he's kind of. I'm not really sure what to expect from him because he's the type of guy that I could see settling in and actually being a. He's not a high leverage guy, but he could be a very reliable middle
it's
relief
fine.
guy,
I'll
and
take it.
but or he could go the other way. He could just completely just be nothing useful. So I'm very curious this year with a full season with us to see how he does because I think if he does do well, that could be another weapon for Topper to
Yeah,
use that I don't think everybody was counting on.
valuable piece.
Yeah, and Ross got an inning
Yeah,
on Saturday, but I don't know. He looked fine. I mean, I think again what we expect from him, just the type of guy that can come in, maybe eat some innings, pitch when you're up by a lot or down by a lot,
right.
just sort of save the other arms. And if that's what he does, you need that kind of role. That's great. So I mean, I don't have any. There's nothing really to say about him other than we got into a game and he didn't look horrible.
Right. Yeah, no, it's the first. It was his first game. I'm not
Right.
thinking too much on him. I mean, we were up big at the time.
Well, and
Um,
Strom's been in two of the three games so far.
yes, and
He closed
he's
out
been
the first game, and
yes,
then he was in today, I think, for an inning. So I'm glad to see him back early on because I
same.
really would have hated to see him out for a long period of time. I think he's un, undervalued member of that pen. Maybe not by this organization, but I think by the fans to some extent. Like I don't. Everybody looks at the back end like stud closers of the league, but I think Strom is much more valuable than a lot of people realize.
So one last thing, you mentioned the fans.
Hmm.
This is something that bothers me. What's with the Eagles chants at the Phillies game? That's something I've always hated. You're there to support the Phils. Your team is
Yeah,
good. This team is going to be good.
yeah,
Yes, sure, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. That's wonderful. I'm happy about that. However, we're not here for football. We're here for baseball.
right.
Like,
I mean, they're two separate teams. I get the whole
yeah, but
Philadelphia nation thing, but I mean, not some people don't care about both sports. Some people aren't fans of both teams. It's just not. I get it to a point, but I agree
I
with you.
don't.
100% agreement. Just
I
don't
don't.
start doing that.
I don't get why you're doing it. First of all, it's the second, third game of the season. It's not
Right.
like we're 46 and 70. You know,
Yeah.
it's like this team might be 70 and 46 for all we know. I'm going to be there cheering on my team. Sorry, Eagles, I love you, but I'm not going to be doing an Eagles chant during a Phillies game.
Well, and it's fully in the off season right now for football. Like it'd be one
Right.
thing, like you said, if it was the end of the year and the Phillies had just completely fallen apart and the Eagles
Yeah.
had started the season, 3 or 4-0. Okay, fine, go have your fun at that point. But like you said, it's the first series of the season. The Phillies
Right.
have World Series aspirations. They have a good team, like you said. It's a weird time to be throwing that out
Maybe
there.
maybe it's because the Nats have this terrible knockoff New York Jets spelling and then the hoo-ah, whatever they have at the end of it.
No, I don't know. I have no
Yeah,
idea
they're
why it
like
would be.
NATS Nats hoo-ah, or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah,
It was
maybe.
terrible after they hit a home run too. I'm
All
done with
right.
that. That was all I
Yeah,
had for that.
no, that's all good. So I think at this point we're gonna jump to our latest installment of Kids Corner, and on this, like
Yes,
I said at the beginning, we have a couple of new voices
we
to share
do.
with you, in addition to our original two. But we have a couple of new voices, so we're gonna take a look at that right now.
Hi, Finn. Who's your favorite Philly and why?
Trey Turner because his numbers his my because his number is my age.
What's that?
Number 7.
Good. And Noah,
Hi.
who's your favorite Philly and why?
My favorite Philly is Reese Hoskins. I just really like him. But if I have to choose a current, I would go JT Realmuto.
All right.
I am here with Calder and Emersyn, and I'm going to ask them a question for Kids Corner. Calder, who is your favorite player on the Phillies, and why?
My favorite player is Castellanos. I like him because he's pretty good at catching, and I was number 8 last year, and he's number 8, and it's like we both like the number 8.
Okay. And Emersyn, who's your favorite player on the Phillies, and why?
My favorite player is Brandon Mark because I like his hair and his beard.
All right, and there you have it.
I like Calder's reason for Nick.
And I like Finn's reason for Turner because it's the same logic.
Virtually the same thing. Virtually the same thing. I asked Noah, why Reese? I asked him later on. Did you have favorite moments? Is all of his home runs in the playoffs, because that's when Noah was really getting into it. Was the playoffs a few years back?
Yeah,
And like, what
that
was
was
the bad
big.
spike? He's like, yeah, it's a bad spike, but he likes what JT can do now.
That's a really good one because that's not like he's not one of the higher profile players, but I respect him for having that opinion because he's so important to the team. Like it's really cool that he recognizes that.
And he can apologize to Emersyn for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was playing well this weekend, and I'm like, boy, he just got it. And when we went today, it was at happenstance that Kepler didn't get the start, so they moved Marsh
awesome.
over to
He
left.
was out there,
and
so,
he was right there every time he'd come up. Calder's like, Emersyn, there he is, he's coming up, So,
Did she scream his name or anything? He would have waved probably.
She just at one point she's like, what's his name again? Like I think she got nervous.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, so that was the Kids Corner for this week. We're going to try and do this every so often. Every week is not going to happen, but it's just going to be too hard to do that. But this was a fun one. I'm glad we got doubled our participation this time, so that was really cool.
We did.
But yeah, I really enjoy that. The kids really enjoyed doing it. They're very excited to participate, and then they're both talking about when is it going to come out so we can listen to it. And I'm sure your kids are the same way. So
Absolutely. So listeners, if you have some questions that you would like us to ask our kids, please do.
Yes, please submit them. Let us know. We'd be happy to ask them, and they are going to say some interesting things. They are funny kids, all of them, and I think a lot of it's just unintentional. They just are. It's just the way they view the world, and it kind of is really cool. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that segment. And now,
Are you ready, Brent?
going. I don't know. I'm a little nervous after last week because I feel like you were really displeased at the fact that I
Oh, well, Brent, guess
Spoiler
what?
alert if you guys didn't listen to these in order for some reason or another.
Why you skip it? well, Brent, it's time for Guess That Philly.
All right.
All right, Brent. So, this player played in the major leagues from 1987 to 2003, was a member of the Phils from 1999 to 2000, parts of those seasons.
Oh, wow, that's short. Okay.
Yes. His positions throughout his career are left field, second base, and third base.
Okay.
During his time as a Philly, he played 227 games, 37 home runs, 115 RBIs.
Okay.
So he was acquired by the Phillies from St. Louis for Cliff Polite and Ricky Bo Talico.
Okay.
So this guy had go ahead.
Go ahead.
So this guy
go
was a
ahead.
30-30 guy in 1990, by the way.
Okay.
You may have it.
I might. What's the jersey number?
5.
Oh. No.
Ooh.
I was thinking something completely different.
All right. So this is a fun fact. I remember when we traded this player, I was actually at Veterans Stadium when this happened. I remember it scrolling across the board. I was like, I think I was sitting in like the third baseline somewhere, and I saw it like right by the left field foul pole across the board.
Oh, wait a minute.
Phillies traded this player for Kent Bottenfield to the Anaheim Angels.
Yeah, I don't remember that for sure, but was it Ron Gant?
It was Ron Gant.
Okay. When you said the number 5 threw me off because I was going in a completely different direction. But then the 5, I didn't realize he played second base. I knew he was left field, and I was pretty sure he played third base too, but I didn't realize he played second base.
Look at this number: 321 career home runs.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player.
1,008 RBIs. In 1994, he got hurt in an ATV accident, so he missed the entire season, and then he won the 1995 Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay.
He was a very good player.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. Yeah, I forgot about him.
It's just a name that stood out to me. I remember him with the Cardinals.
And he went on to he was with the Braves, yeah, too.
Braves, yes, that's where he was 30-30.
The Cardinals and I do remember. But yeah, no, okay. So you did get that one took a long time. So I didn't completely get that, but
he was one of those players that was an athlete, not just a ball player. The dude was like he was meant to play sports. Like
he had strength and speed. Yeah,
he was a big dude. He's like think like Greg Vaughn, Barry Bonds kind of player.
Greg Vaughn, man, what a that was a name. I mean, he was
yes, he was a bopper too. Albert Bell, those guys.
Yeah, the big fellas, but yeah, no, that was a good one. That was I hadn't thought about Ron Gant in 20 years probably.
Yeah, because I just I was thinking I'm gonna think of someone random. Like I have a connection with because I was at the one game he got traded, and I was like, first of all, who the heck is Kent Bottenfield?
Yeah, I remember that name, but I don't remember the trade at all. I don't remember Ron's exit at all.
Yeah, Cliff Polite,
I remember him.
That would have been a good Guess That Philly name too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry I used multiples there, but good work today. I guess you'll try to get me again next week. You're on a winning streak here. I gotta get back on the horse.
Okay, well it was a good one. I really liked that. That was a fun one to guess. But yeah, I guess at this point we are at the end of our first regular season episode. So the first of many that we hope to get all the way to the finish line and to be in good spirits. But we have a long way to go. And this week, just to remind everybody, Jim and I are going to be on Thursday. We're going to be at the game against the Rockies to close out that series. So if the math goes right, we should see Zach. But hopefully there's no rainouts or anything like that in the middle.
Weather is going to happen at some point during this week. Hopefully it does not impact games.
Yes,
Um,
yes. But we are going to be going, and we'll see. We're going to try to incorporate something from our experience at the stadium into the podcast. So
all right.
should be fun.
Well, guys, that wraps us up. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, X/Twitter at Funfiltered, that's PHUNPHILTERD, and also now on YouTube at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast. Make sure to give us a follow and subscribe. Click that bell, folks, please.
All right, thank you, Jim. Good job. I feel like you're
course.
you're a professional at this now. It just
you.
rolls off the tongue. But thank you all for
Pleasure.
joining us for this first regular season episode, and we hope to see you back here again next week. Take care, everybody, and
Go Phils.
go Phils. Bye bye.
Don't forget that.